My name is Josiah and welcome to this video. So basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be documenting pretty much A to Z what it looks like to go from 0 to 100K a month. Now, I've done pretty well for myself in general. I've done about $21 million in cash collected over the last 7 years in the industry across, public relations, fitness sales, wholesale coaching, ton of different industries in general, but I've been in sales the last 7 years. I started door to door. Yes, I am in a bonnet, but the purpose of this video is to document the journey from day one all the way to whenever it takes me, whenever I hit the 100K month. So I want to go over basically every single day. I'm going to be uploading a video near the end of the day to show you A to Z what I'm doing to actually be able to hit my goal. Now, if you judge me for being in a bonnet, don't care. Cool, great. I probably will play music at the beginning of each video, just whatever I'm feeling, the most of the time. So that way you guys can vibe, maybe learn some new music here and there as well. But let's get into what the actual goal is. So yes, the goal is 100K for the month, but obviously for when I'm starting, it's going to be a little bit different. I did start on this offer the first 17 selling days on the team that I'm on. I was the number one rep in terms of close rate and cash collected. And yes, so this month you'll get to see exactly what I'm working on A to Z each and every single day. So to start, in total, what we want for monthly revenue right now, ideally I want to be around 360K in monthly revenue, 53 closed deals, 160 live calls, 200 book calls, and as well as 250 open slots. Now, in terms of this, that also equals out to me having 9 slots open each day, 7, 8 book calls a day, 6 live calls, 2 closed deals, and then around 12 to $13,000 in revenue each day. So to achieve this, I need at least a 35% live call closing rate. I do offer, so I track my offer closing rate. I generally don't offer around 20 to 30% of prospects that come through my calendar. However you feel, I don't really give a shit. You feel you want about that. But basically, then afterwards that, there is a goal for me to have an 80 to 90% show rate. 80% is like bare minimum for me. That's where I want to be bare minimum. AOV want to be bare minimum at 6,800. Now, I think this is a really important part of, getting goals, and at least for me to define a goal and what I need to do to actually reach that goal as well. So this is just what's in my control. I need to understand what exactly is in my control to actually be able to reach this goal and reach it with absolute confidence. So I break down each piece step by step of what I need to do. I'll show you guys maybe in another video what my Notion breakout page looks like, but generally that's a video where I introduce myself and pass it. I introduce myself and pass introducing myself. I also send a stream of testimonials in terms of visual, and written testimonials that they can see for themselves to give extreme social proof before someone shows up to a call with me. This works as, if you know Jeremy Haynes, his breakout pages, super cool dude. Yeah, I would say watch his stuff if you're in sales. Marketing is very important. Even if you are in sales, you should really have a good understanding of marketing so you know how to communicate to marketing as well. But basically for me, my non-negotiables is going to be sending my Notion breakout page pretty much at between 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. pretty much every day. So that gives people enough time to actually view it, digest it, everything like that. I will take 7 calls minimum a day. So if I have 6 calls booked, I need to be working to actually get another call on my calendar. I will only drop the first price as something between $6,000 and $15,000, nothing less for the initial price. Just because I'm setting myself up for success that way to maximize my actual AOV. Past that, any unclosed deals will have a follow-up task on my calendar within the next 2 weeks to check in again. So essentially, I'll book it on my calendar. I fucking suck with go high level tasks. So I just put it on my calendar because I follow my calendar quite religiously. Now, any no-shows or cancellations will be set on my calendar for a follow-up date to get them rebooked. So essentially what this means for me is whenever there's a no-show, there's a cancellation, I will set a task for generally the next 24 hours to get them rebooked on my calendar or get that call back active again. So one, I can increase my show rate and keep my show rate high across the month. And then past that, I leverage the opportunity. So it's not just a wasted lead and wasted money for the business owner. Every deal that I close, I'll check in with them 21 days after closing for referrals. 21 days is just generally around the peak time that we see results for people. So it's between that 14, 21 day mark as it is for pretty much any offer. But basically I'll reach out to them within 21 days of purchase to see what their results are like. Then after that, I will follow whatever's on my calendar. A lot of closers will benefit if they just did this and they weren't lazy, but I will follow whatever is on my calendar very religiously to make sure that I don't have any thought in what I'm actually doing. Because the moment you bring thought in, humans are easily like, I don't really feel like it. I don't really want to do it. I'll never have that happen because I literally just follow what is on my calendar. So Next thing is I will exercise every day. All right. As you see, I'm a little small right now, but I'm working on it. So I just want to exercise every day because it keeps me mentally clear. It keeps me mentally and emotionally very clear, and it keeps me physically feeling very good as well. Mind you, I'm selling a fitness offer in a way. I'm pretty much one of the biggest fitness offers in the space. So that's important. But past that, well, that just got leaked. So you guys know what offer I'm on, but whatever, I don't care. But basically, I will go to bed at 10:30 p.m. at the latest every night. So I'll be in bed, sleep at 10:30 p.m. every night. I don't want to be past that because then at that point, I won't be able to wake up and do what's on my calendar if I am not asleep by that point. I will take my supplement stack religiously every day. If you guys want to know what I'm taking for supplements, here is what I'm taking for supplements. So I'm taking L-tyrosine. L-tyrosine is very great. You generally take this on an empty stomach. If you take this on an empty stomach, it helps your dopamine receptors and gives you dopamine motivation to go do things. After I take that and I let it sit for about 20 minutes in my stomach, I take L-theanine plus caffeine. And then essentially what that does is that boosts the actual dopamine that I get from the L-tyrosine, giving me more energy throughout the day to consistently keep my energy up. And then past that, there's D3 and K2. So that also helps me to regulate a lot of different things when it comes to like calcium, emotional regulation, testosterone. It's just an emotional support kind of thing. Past that, to actually go to bed and then have a really good sleep, get 7 or 9 hours, I take zinc picolinate. Don't know if you guys can see that, zinc picolinate. And then I take magnesium glycinate. Generally take these about an hour before bed. Unless I smoke, I do smoke weed. You know, you can make a lot of money and still smoke weed. So cool. But yeah, either way, take that supplement stack religiously, and then I'll review one loss every day before taking calls so I know what I need to work on as well. This helps me to go into the day knowing exactly what I need to do to actually improve for today or what I need to work on for today or fix my biggest weakness from the other day before. So now that we're through that, I also think a very important piece is obstacle proofing. So obstacle proofing is extremely important just for the sole purpose that you're going to have obstacles whenever you reach a goal, but you need to have an SOP in place for when you reach an obstacle, you actually know what to do. And for me, that's actually a very important piece is knowing what to do if I actually do reach that obstacle, right? So for me, the main obstacle is low energy. So if I run into low, that's the only thing that can stop me. Like genuinely in terms of being human, it's just low energy or like back to back, you know, I'm just constantly having to DQ people or constantly not getting the sales, whatever, cool. Then at that point, how I actually fix my energy, then I'll go do 15 push-ups. I'll go outside and do deep breathing for 2 minutes, and then I'll go back inside. That's pretty much it. Usually I feel completely refreshed after that, especially since it's around wintertime. I just snap right back. Accountability. Accountability is very important. A lot of people think I don't need accountability. It's just helpful. You know, just do something to actually hold yourself accountable, but also get other people to hold you accountable. So what I'm doing is for girlfriend and peers, what I'll do is every Sunday, 6 p.m., I'm going to send them the report in terms of the call averages and, you know, different stuff like that. They're going to make sure that I exercise and I went to bed, right? These are the specific things that are within my control. I control me taking 7 calls a day because on the offer I'm on, it has extremely high call volume as well. So there's that. Penalty is if I don't do these things and I don't match those 3 things there, then essentially it'll be a $50 gift card per person for any missed non-negotiable. And then the victory condition is if I hit the weekly target for the revenue that I need to hit, I'll go out for a celebratory dinner. So now let's talk about today. Today was a very interesting start to this actual challenge. It was not to plan. So today is day 1 of the road to 100K a month. Now, this month we're just going for 50K. So maybe I'll change that in the future, but over the course of this whole entire thing, we're aiming to hit 100K a month. All right. So I had 5 calls booked today. There was 0 closes. My close rate 0. All that stuff 0. Days left in the month 30. Needed to hit the goal. We need $50,000 to be able to actually hit the goal of hitting $50,000 this month because that is the goal. Now, my best call was a very quick DQ. It was around 11 minutes. And the lesson I learned from it was just like, if there is no need, don't tell the person. And the way I define need is through an equation. And this is the equation so that you guys can see it. I believe that there is no sale if there is no pain, right? So if there is no sale, if there is no pain, I define it like this. So suffering. So if we look at suffering plus, I'll call this future loss. Oh my God, I spelled that fucking terribly. Future loss times inability to, holy shit, I can't spell it today. I'm so sorry. So if we're looking at this, this is what I use to disqualify people. Like, I believe fundamentally, If you 100% believe you can solve your problem on your own, there's no need for you to come to us. There's no need for you to work with us. If we can't get you there faster, or we can't get you there in a better way, or we can just get you there in the first place, there's no reason for you to work for us with us. And then if there's no current suffering, urgency is going to be very low. Not urgency, the current pain, there's not going to be enough motivating you. Like there's no pain threshold for you to move past right now where you're like, oh, I need to do something about this. I need to do something about this. And even if you don't have current suffering, if you don't have any future loss, right? If there's no future loss where that's really going to create the urgency, like in the next 6 or 12 months, if you do nothing about this and you stay the same, and you just keep going down the same path, you're 100%. Well, then you're 100% not to do our thing. Because what is the point? You have no urgency to do it. You have no current pain. You believe you can solve it on your own. What do you sell them? At that point, you're just hoping for a sale, in my opinion. So those people, whenever they don't solve that equation, in my opinion, there's no pain. So there's no point in selling them. And that equation has saved me a lot of time. And the reason I was happy about that is I was able to disqualify that person in 10 minutes and, get on another call with someone who could potentially be a lot better for my time. Turns out they were not. They were also another DQ, which leads me to my biggest mistake. Because I hopped to this call, this person was a complete waste of time. They were not serious. They had no urgency, but they were saying the right things. It was like an insurance agent, but they were saying the right things, making me like, we might have something here. We might have something here, but we had absolutely nothing. So there was nothing there. And the basically what I missed was protecting my time. I think protecting your time and your mental energy in sales is extremely important because you taking back to back to back to back calls. I generally try and not to do more than 3 back to back in a row, but you taking back to back calls can be very draining for your energy as well. So I just should have said no to this person the moment I noticed they were missing the things that I needed in this equation for a sale to actually be present or for their sellability to actually increase as well. If someone does not have pain, there is no sale, in my opinion. So the moment I noticed that there is no current pain, even if there is no current pain, there could still be a sale if there is future loss. So you could have either one of these, but if you don't have at least one, there is no point. And when I got to the end of that call, essentially what that guy ended up saying to me was, he was like, I don't think my problem's bad enough to justify spending, $6,000. I don't feel that. And that proved it to me. I was like, I shouldn't have pitched this guy. And I knew I shouldn't have, but I was just like, fuck it. I mean, it sounds like he really needs help with it. So what I'll do tomorrow is I'll protect my time. And whenever someone does not fit that equation, I'll just get off the call unless they can convince me that they need our help or they need to do something about this. That's just the way I look at it. So what is working? What is working in discovery is current pain. Amplifying current pain as much as possible and understanding current pain as much as possible is very important in terms of how this problem is showing up day to day in their life, in their business, anything like that is amazing, right? So whenever you understand there's this problem, let's say for my offer specifically, we help you with like mobility stuff, right? So when it comes to it, let's say they say, yeah, I'm really struggling with my back. Like my lower back just really, really hurts. My ankles hurts. There's a lot of pain there, blah, blah, blah. So how is that showing up day to day in terms of how you do things when you sleep, the way you reach for things, going upstairs, like stuff like that? Getting them to describe the day-to-day implications of the current problem that they're having makes it very real in their brain. And they have to relive those experiences. And it also gives me an understanding of how grave this issue actually is. And the reason something like that is important to me is it gives me permission to fight for this person in objection handling, right? If you just go through a call, they have no current pain, they have nothing to lose in the future, and they believe they can solve it on their own. What are you objection handling? Like, what are you objection handling? Absolutely nothing. So at that point, it gives me a reason to fight for this person in objection handling. Current pain is extremely important in terms of what current suffering is extremely important in terms of what they're actually dealing with. Okay. So I want to clear up and understand all of that. Now, when it comes to the pitch, tailoring the pitch is extremely important in terms of all pieces. I use my own pitch structure. It's called the fast pitch. That's where we do the foundation. So we talk about the goal and the overarching goal of where they want to be and where we're taking them from. And then past that, we're also looking at the ascension, right? So when we're talking about ascension, essentially what we're looking at here is the deliverables of the program. And if you ever heard of Michael Oliver, the really great way to do features is feature, advantage, benefit. In terms of feature, the advantage of having something like this, and then the benefit, this is usually like the outcome that they get from it. That model is extremely perfect when you do a completely tailored pitch. And I usually don't pitch anything that we haven't talked about in discovery. So you only pitch features that you talk about in discovery because it feels extremely tailored to them. It feels like it's exactly what they need because you just talked about exactly what they need in discovery. So you just tailor that to them 100%. Past that, I do shift. That's like an identity piece, and I do timeline so they know exactly what to expect. I built this out based on the way that marketing works, since essentially it's just marketing is always just a sales pitch. I just made a marketing sales pitch. So we talk about the overarching goal is like the headline. After that, the deliverables, that's like the VSL or the meat of it. And then after that, identity and stuff, you know, if they read through anything, who it's for, who it's not for. And then past that, timeline is like how fast they can actually expect results. So then there's objections. What's working best in objections is isolating and then working through money, right? A lot of people take money at face value when someone says, I can't afford it. Well, let's actually figure out what they have available to actually afford this, right? So just clearing up what they actually can't afford is going to be a major bump in what you can do. So in terms of cash on hand, understanding what they have in the bank accounts, what can they afford monthly? What do they have at the end of the month in terms of monthly payments? And also being able to mix up payments, right? Don't be afraid to take a percentage of cash up front, right? To lower the monthly payment on financing, right? So if something's $5,000, for example, and you pay $2,000 in cash to lower the monthly payment from something that could be like $500 a month all the way down to like $250 a month if they pay $2,000 towards it, then at that point, it's less of a cash flow constraint for them. So there's a ton of different options in what you can do in sales, just to make sure that you're leveraging all of them. And that's what I'm focusing on as well. And then mentality is I really do think stoicism is extremely important. And when it comes to sales and only worrying about what you can control, if you're worried about every little thing and like, you know, there's aspects you can control to your show rate to an extent, right? But don't be like angry that a call didn't show. Don't be angry that a call didn't go your way. Don't be angry that you couldn't, don't be angry that you're not getting sales either, right? It's like everything comes as a byproduct. So the more you're angry, the more you're upset, the more you're in your emotions, the less you're worried about actually improving. The more you're feeling in that moment down on yourself, the more you're feeling in that moment like you're worthless or you're not doing things properly. And that mindset, it does not benefit you. It does not benefit you towards moving forward. But if you look at the call, you said, what could I have done better to actually help this person? Or was this person someone I could even help in this moment? Those are the important questions that you should ask. So overall, this is what I'll be doing pretty much each and every day. I'll be giving you guys a daily update. I'll be going over what my best call is, what was my biggest mistake, and then also I will be going over what is working, right? So that way you guys get tips every single day, usually right here. You guys get to see how far I am from getting the goal, and you actually get to be on the journey of somebody that's making 50K a month, getting real lessons, getting the live lessons of what they're learning, working on a new offer, and then not only 50K a month, but also when I hit 100K a month as well. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope it was great, and I hope you guys benefited from this. So bye-bye.
They can't handle us and can't stand us, including fruits that Frank's channeling. The Ku Klux Klan see me and my man.